So hey guys, how y'all doing this morning? I'm at my favorite spot, picking up me some food, and I'm on my way to work. Y'all, I just went inside here, right? I order all the time. And this place, and it's gonna be dark because it's cloudy out here. I think we get ready to have a storm. So the lighting will be off, so just ignore it. But I went here this morning and the girl that normally waits on me, she's a Mexican woman, really nice girl. And she was like, Miss Tracy, are you single or are you married, boyfriend? And I was like, why? And she was like, this man right here standing right next to me in the darn restaurant, put me on spot, wants to know who this lady is because he wants to date you and he would like to have a baby. I was like, what? A baby? I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm 54 years old and I don't see myself having any children. At 54 years old, I'm a grandmother. But I was just like, she just put me on the spot and the man on the spot. I don't think that he wanted her to ask me while he was standing there. She just busted out, Miss Tracy, this man want to know if you got a boyfriend or a husband or, because he like you and he want to date you and he would like to have babies. I was like, oh Lord Jesus, they was both Mexican. He has a business. He owns a construction business and she's there as a waitress, and it was just hilarious. But it put me on the spot, Anyway, I want to talk about, first of all, good morning everybody. How are you all doing? So, here in North Carolina, we are in a state of emergency because what I heard on the news yesterday, and I didn't listen to it thoroughly, and I didn't read any articles on it thoroughly, so excuse me if I have any wrong information. Normally I do my research. But someone or somebody, I don't know, they did a cyber attack on some pipelines that the gas was going through or whatever. Anyway, everyone was ordered or asked to make sure you got gas in your vehicles because we weren't going to have any gas and they don't know how long it was going to last, okay? So I went and I filled up my tank yesterday, and I have a very big SUV. This SUV is big. And so I filled up my tank yesterday, and the lines were like down the street and around the corner from the pumps. It was ridiculous how it was just crazy. And I know that they have said that North Carolina, I'm in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and Atlanta, so far are the states that I know of that have been affected by this gas shortage, okay? Also, the gas has went up. It's almost $3 a gallon now. That's pretty expensive for gas. I remember back in the day, in the 80s, the early 80s, maybe the 90s, gas was like 98 cents for regular gas a gallon. Then it went up to $1.89, and then it just kept going. And then it did drop back down. Now it's back up, So I don't know exactly what's going on, but they did say that it was a cyber attack and it affected the pipe where I guess the gas travels through. If that's, that's what it sounds like. I mean, because it's a pipe and things travel through pipes, So, if you are in this situation, go get your gas and don't drive all over the place trying to, go here and there, because it may be next week we won't be able to get gas. One gas station said that they were not going to have any more gas for another 5 days, and they didn't know how long it was going to last. A lot of gas pumps that people pulled up to yesterday had the yellow tape up where they couldn't even get gas. It was blocked because they ran out of gas, because I'm telling you, the lines were down the street and around the corner. That's how bad it was, and then they, like I said, they set my state into a state of an emergency, so it was like urgent that you go get gas, and it's always good to keep gas in your car. I'm one of those people who don't never keep gas in my vehicle because I'm gonna say busy. I'm not gonna say sorry. I'm gonna say too busy to actually stop and get gas all the time. I always get gas when I think I need it, and I'm almost on a quarter of a tank or on E, But it's always good to just make sure you have gas You know, don't let it get down to a half a tank, because you just never know. This just happened, like, bam. You know, it was like, you need to get gas. I don't even know when it happened. A coworker of mine told me yesterday morning that her husband put gas in her car Sunday because of the pipes, but she didn't say it was a state of emergency. I found that out after work watching the news. But so it must have happened on Sunday. But I'm not one to even look at the news, really. I get a lot of my information from MSN or CNN or Newsy that come across my phone. I don't really look at the news. You know, I don't sit down and actually look at the news like I did before, because it's just so much going on. It's just horrible out here in this world, you know? And so it's just things just happening. It's like one thing after another just popping off constantly. You know, it's just like every time you turn around, it's some kind of crisis in the world, you know? And to me, that's just a sign that it's getting closer to the end, because it's like things are not getting any better. It's just getting worse. It's like, 2020 ushered in so much. It was already bad, but my God, you know, you could travel, you could go someplace without really worried about getting shot. You know, now I went and got a pedicure the other day, and when I came out of the pedicure shop, it was so many just guys and stuff hanging around outside in the parking lot where your vehicles and things was. And you know, that part of town that I went to, you know, they have a lot of crime in that part of town, and I couldn't find anybody that was not taking appointments to do my pedicure, and I really needed to get a pedicure. And I was like, well, I'm gonna have to find some place that's gonna walk in, that I can walk into. And so I was going down that way, and I saw it, and I was like, okay, let me go in here. When I went in, you know, it wasn't a lot of people outside. I was in there for about a good 45 minutes to an hour, maybe hour and a half. And I came back out, and it's a Chinese restaurant next door, and it's a beauty supply store in that shopping center, and a renter center where you can rent your furniture from. Just a lot of little stores. But when I came outside, it just struck a nerve, because there was so many just men just hanging out, and they didn't look, I'm not saying they were bad men, you know, but if you judge a book by its cover, you know, that's not good. Because when I came out, you know, like, oh my God, they was everywhere. They were everywhere. They was all over the vehicles, all outside the restaurant, all outside of the nail salon, you know. And not judging, but these days and times you have to be careful, because people are snatching your pocketbooks. And I got a Fendi bag, you know, and people are snatching your pocketbooks and, you know, shooting you. I wear a lot of jewelry, and, you know, I was like, and that part of town is known for a lot of crime. But that didn't stop me from going to that nail salon, because I wasn't looking at that as being I was going to be in danger. You know what I'm saying? But when I came out, I wasn't expecting to see all of these people just like, I don't know where they came from, like just swamped in. I don't know if it was dinner time or what, but, and people in the car, you know, out there in the car, the girls out there with their nylon cap on their head, they silk cap on their head, and they just, it was a mess. It was just a mess. I don't know what was going on. And I know that when you are around a lot of young people, there's a lot of young people too. When you are around a lot of young people, there's, you know, sometimes trouble break out. Well, it could be older people too. It could be older people too. But here lately in my neck of the woods, a lot of young teenagers been shooting. And a lot of young teenagers at the mall a couple of months ago jumped on an older woman in her 40s and beat her to the floor and beat her husband up. He tried to help her. He had to go to the car and get a crowbar and swing. They jumped her from ages 13 to 18 because she was trying to break them up in a fight and calm them down and talk sense into them. They didn't want to be talked sense into, and they attacked her and they beat the daylights out of her. They beat up a store lady inside the mall, because she wouldn't let them all in the store, and they grabbed her out the store and beat her. So when I walked out, I was like, oh God, you know. So I didn't show no fear, but it just startled me, you know? And what I'm saying is so many things, so many crises are going on today. Every time you turn on the news, that's why I don't look at the news, make a long story short. Because things are just, it's always something negative in the news. You never hear of anything positive anymore. You know, I mean, you just don't. It's always something negative. It's just crazy. It's just awful, you know? So, get your gas. If you are in this situation, go get your gas, you know? Don't sit here till the last minute. And I remember back in the 70s, we had a gas shortage. I was a little girl. We had a gas shortage. I was in Brooklyn, living in Brooklyn, and my mother, they had to go buy your license plate. And you had to get gas on your day, okay? I don't think it was every other day. It might have been once a week or something, but you had to go buy your license plate. If you didn't go up there on the day that you were supposed to go, within specific, it's raining. With those specific letters in your license plate, you weren't getting any gas. So my mother missed her day. She missed her day. We're driving along. There is a long line. I mean, like a mile long, waiting for gas. It was their day. My mother gets in that line, and we wait in that line for over an hour, right? When we get right to the turn in, not into the gas station, to the turn in, she runs out of gas. And her tail was still in the street. So she jumps up and she runs to the gas thing, and she asked the man, "Can I please have a little bit of gas? I ran out of gas. I missed my day." I guess he asked her what was her license plate number and all that. And anyway, she came back, make a long story short, she was like, "They said no." She was coming back from the gas station. "They said no. They won't give me no gas." You could see she was just like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do?" We had to leave the car there and walk home. And we lived probably, if I can remember, maybe 8 blocks, maybe, away from the gas station. Now, I do remember it being warm outside, thank God it wasn't cold. But she didn't get gas. That was back in the 70s because we had a gas shortage in New York. I remember that. I don't know who else it hit, but I remember New York had a gas shortage. And it lasted for a good, pretty long time. And I see it like it's coming back because gas lines are like down the road, you know, and they're running out of gas. Like all of a sudden, they just ran out of gas. And it's just crazy, you know? So if you can go get you some gas, like right now I'm looking at the gas station, it's not a car there and the lights are off at the pumps because they don't have any gas. They have no gas. The gas pumps are turned off. I'm looking right at it and there's no gas. There's no gas. I mean, they got plastic bags over the nozzles, you know, so it's a scary time. You know, you have to have yourself together, have your trust in God, because he's the only one that can bring you through this, because it's a mess. It's a mess, you know. So anyway, you all have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday and a happy hump day. And I am going to say vielen Dank. That's thank you very much in German. So vielen Dank for watching me, and choose, that's what? That's bye in German.